Greetings, everybody. It is the Doctor, and happy Friday, because I missed our normal Friday update for Star Trek Online Delta Rising news. It is, in fact, Saturday, September 27th, 2014, and there have been, once again, many news updates on the Star Trek Online website. A lot to talk about here for Delta Rising. I just keep getting impressed with how much new stuff is coming to the game for Delta Rising. So without further ado, let's get started because there are some really cool ships to look at. Note that I have not read any of these blogs myself yet, so this is a blind read-through for me as well. So you will see my reaction first time to any of this news. And we're going to start right off with some new starships. Finally, some stats on some of the new starships are revealed to us. With the conflicts between the Federation and Klingon empires finally subsiding, the major factions of the Alpha and Beta quadrants are refocusing their gaze outward once more. Accompanied by the revelation of a new path into the unexplored reaches of the Delta Quadrant, this newfound ceasefire has allowed an unprecedented reallocation of assets, labor, and innovation for the creation and manufacturing of fleets or starships suited for deep space exploration in potentially hazardous sectors. Intel Hybrid Bridge Officer seats. These new Tier 6 starships are more traditional than the previously announced Intel ships. That said, all three of these ships feature a single hybrid Intel Bridge Officer seat. Q&A, will fleet variants of these ships be available at Delta Rising launch? Answer, fleet variations of these starships will be released sometime after the Delta Rising launch. Starship stats, check out the stats for these new ships. So these ships will have, they will feature a single hybrid Intel Bridge Officer seat. And I think we're going to start off with the Guardian here, which is the one I'm really looking forward to. Now we finally have the stats on it. And some pictures here. I wish you could click on these to make these bigger. But again, I have said in the past that out of all the Tier 6 starships, the Guardian is the one I am most looking forward to and would probably see myself fly long term as a starship. It's very reminiscent of earlier Enterprise designs, and it kind of combines some of those old designs with the newer design, and I really, really like it. Out of all the ships, this is the one they've done a best job with visually. Now let's see how the stats stack up. So obviously this is going to require Vice Admiral. So it's a Tier 6 ship, but you can get it at level 50. And because it's a Tier 6 ship, it's going to have that scaling hull strength. So at level 50, it starts at 43,725. And then as you get to level 60, it will increase its hull up to 53,000. So I guess that's not too bad. Definitely could be worse. So I really don't have any opinions about the hull strength there. It sounds pretty good. It's not going to be the most, hull strengthy cruiser out there. It's not meant to be anyway, so that's fine. Not really, doesn't really have a shield modifier. Crew of 1,100, so it's a pretty big ship. The Enterprise D had a crew of 1,000. Or at least space for 1,000 people. I don't know if there were ever... Now, there were 1,000 people on the ship. That's right. They did quote that at one time, that there were actually that many people on the ship at once, 1,000 people. Weapons, 4 fore and 4 aft. Not bad for a cruiser. Pretty standard. I don't see anything so far that makes it really stand out as a Tier 6 ship in terms of weapon layout and hull strength yet. Bridge officer stations. 1 Lieutenant Commander Tactical, 1 Lieutenant Intel Engineering, so there's that Intel seating that it has. 1 Commander Engineering, 1 Lieutenant Commander Science, 1 Ensign Universal. So it's got a Commander Engineering Bridge Officer seat, so it sounds like it will fit very well on an engineering character. 3 tactical slots, 4 engineering and 3 science. Pretty balanced on tactical and science, and then you have that extra engineering. Base turn rate is 6.5. Interesting that it's got a 0.5 degree per second. 6.5 degrees per second. That's a bit slow, but it is a cruiser. Inertia is 35. Let's see, plus 5 to all power levels. Console universal particle conversion matrix is what it can do. It has a matter-antimatter warp core. It's got the cruiser command abilities because it's a cruiser, so all of those are there. It also has a Starship Mastery package. This is unique. Try to say that word. Absorptive plating. That's an interesting word. I never have seen that quite put that way. Absorptive. Absorptive. That's a weird word. Plus physical and kinetic damage resistance with that. Rapid repairs is hull regen. Enhanced plating is energy and radiation damage resistance. Armored hull is max HP, which is your hit points or the actual, you could even call that hull strength. Desperate repairs is a starship trait. So it looks like some new abilities there. So the console is this particle conversion matrix. The Guardian Cruiser comes equipped with the particle conversion matrix. When activated, your shields will become significantly more durable, allowing them to absorb even more damage for a short time. During this time, any incoming enemy energy weapon fire has a high chance of boosting your own energy weapon damage. This console may only be equipped on the Guardian Cruiser. So, but I guess it just takes the energy from enemy weapons to your shields and kind of converts it to weapon power. That's cool. And on a beam ship like this, that is what you want. All the weapon power you can get to help those beams. Desperate repairs, starship trait. After achieving level 5 in your Guardian Cruiser's Starship Mastery, you will unlock the Desperate Repairs starship trait. While this trait is slotted, each time your starship is critically hit, you receive a desperation counter. Immediately upon receiving a third desperation counter, you will receive a large hull and shield heal and will be unable to gain desperation counters for a while. So that's interesting. So what do I think about this ship? I think it'll be a pretty good cruiser. I just don't see a whole lot unique about it. I guess that Intel bridge officer seating will be unique. That kind of makes it a tier 6 ship, I guess. And then all this Starship Mastery package stuff. Extra abilities, I'm thinking, are probably similar to what like the Romulans have, how you have that extra bar, that extra hot bar of like quantum singularity abilities that you get with Romulan ships that have quantum singularity, warp drive or warp cores. You have those set abilities. That's what I'm thinking that they're doing here, or maybe I'm just totally wrong about that. But I kind of see it similar to that. That'll be like a separate hot bar of these options that you can select when you want them, and that's based on, I guess, leveling up your Starship Mastery stuff. However, that's going to work out, yet to be seen. But that will give the ship some more abilities, at least. So it's okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of, I don't know what to think about it yet so far, till I get it and try it. But I like the looks of it, I can tell you that much. So the Dauntless now. We know the Dauntless is going to come to the game. It was discovered by Voyager in the Delta Quadrant. It was actually an alien ship, but it looks like Starfleet has taken it and designed this ship anyway based off of that alien design. And here's the stats on it. It has a much lesser hull strength, 29,700 at level 50, and then up to 36,000 at level 60. So it sounds definitely more like a science vessel. It's going to have less hull strength. It has a 1.3 shield modifier, indicating it's definitely going to be a science vessel, because usually science vessels have the highest shield modifiers. Crew of only 150. It's a small ship. I'm surprised by that. That's like the crew. That's like the size of Voyager, the crew size of Voyager there. I think Voyager was like 170 or something, but very close to crew size of Voyager. 3 fore, 3 aft weapons. That's the same as a science vessel. Average there, nothing spectacular. Device slots 3: 1 lieutenant tactical, 1 lieutenant commander tactical, one lieutenant engineering, 1 lieutenant intel science, and 1 commander science. So there you go. It's got a commander science bridge officer seating, so it's a science vessel. And then, of course, to make it a tier 6 ship, it's got that intel seating, and we'll see what that's all about in the future. 3 tactical consoles, 2 engineering, 5 science. Very, very science heavy. 14 degrees per second, so it turns really good. Plus 10 to weapons and auxiliary power. So interesting that it's got plus 10 to weapons, even though it's a science ship. Sensor analysis, subsystem targeting. It's got the secondary deflector slot, if those will ever be released in game. Console universal particle synthesizer comes with a unique console particle synthesizer. Matter-antimatter warp core, hyper advanced quantum slipstream drive. So an even more advanced quantum slipstream drive than what we have. And then the Starship Ability Package Science Vessel. Enhanced particle generators plus exotic damage. Advanced shield systems plus shield HP or health points or hit points. Enhanced restorative circuitry plus shield and hull healing. Auxiliary power infusers plus max auxiliary power. That'll be important for doing your science abilities. Radiant Nanite Cloud, which is a starship trait. So just like the Guardian Tier 6 ship is going to have a mastery package, you also have a package to rep up in, I guess, on this ship as well. And those are going to be the abilities. I like the extra auxiliary power ability. That will be good. Also the extra exotic damage ability. That will be useful as well. And now let's see what the starship trait means below. So here's the Universal Console Particle Synthesizer. The experimental science vessel comes equipped with a particle synthesizer. This sophisticated piece of technology can project a particle synthesis beam at a distant target. This will cause you to assume the appearance of your target, and your distant foe and its nearby friends will take on your appearance, thus causing tremendous confusion between your enemies. Additionally, a photonic decoy of your starship is created near your position to draw the attention of your enemies. That is really cool, and that harkens back to the fact that the alien that developed this ship developed it based on the structure of an alien ship, but used advanced photonics, basically, to make the ship look like a Federation starship. And the actual interior of the ship was made to look like a Federation starship through holographic technology. So having this particle synthesizer sounds like something that alien species would have had, that kind of technology, which is interesting that the Federation now has it, and because they never really actually got to, look at this ship in person. Here's the Starship trait. After achieving level 5 in your experimental science vessel Starship Mastery, you will unlock the Radiant Nanite Cloud. While this trait is slotted, all hull heal bridge officer abilities will heal for an additional 25% over 4 seconds in a 3-kilometer radius. So just some more, AoE healing there. So kind of reminds me of the Nanite Cloud that you have with the Borg reputation on ground, except this is kind of like a healing cloud in space now. Interesting. The Maha Raptor, Klingons Tier 6 ship. The Maha Raptor is the most advanced tactical vessel in the Klingon fleet. It was designed to have unparalleled forward firepower, capable of delivering withering volleys of energy weapon and torpedo fire. 36,300 hull at 50, 44,000 at 60. 0.85 shield modifier. Crew of 200, not a huge ship. 5 forward weapons, 2 aft. So only 2 aft, very limited on the aft. It's all meant for forward firing, as it says, 5-4. 1 lieutenant tactical, 1 commander tactical, 1 lieutenant commander engineering, 1 lieutenant science intel, 1 lieutenant universal. So it's got a commander tactical, very tactical oriented ship. Has that 1 intel bridge officer seating. 5 tactical consoles, 3 engineering, 2 science, 15 degrees per second. Plus 15 power to weapons, can load dual cannons, got a cloaking device, but it doesn't say if it's a battle cloak. It just says cloaking device, which is not as good as the battle cloak. Console universal heavy disruptor spinal cannons, matter-antimatter warp core, and then the mastery package for the Escort Raptor is precise weapon systems plus accuracy, tactical maneuvering plus defense, enhanced weapon system plus damage, devastating weaponry plus crit chance, and overwhelming force. The Maha Raptor comes equipped with a pair of heavy disruptor spinal cannons that can lay down a sustained barrage of withering disruptor fire to any starship that enters its area of fire. Starships struck by this weapon will have their engines knocked offline briefly. This console may only be equipped with the Maha Raptor. The Starship trait, after reaching level 5, you get Overwhelming Force. While this trait is slotted, your beam overload attacks... interesting that it's a beam overload attack, when on this ship you would want to use cannons. Anyway, while this trait is slotted, your beam overload attacks will create a reduced radius charge particle burst at the target's location. Your high-yield torpedo attacks will create a reduced radius photonic shockwave. So that's cool. I like that part. Your high-yield torpedoes will give you a photonic shockwave at the target's location. But who's really going to use beams on this ship? Give me a break. No, people are going to use cannons. It's got 5 forward weapon slots. You're going to use cannons. So having a beam overload attack for that trait is kind of useless on this ship. Nobody's going to use that. Are they trying to force you to use phasers? Beams? I don't know, because who would want to? All right, the AE-LAL, I don't know how you pronounce that. The Romulan one. That looks pretty cool, actually. This warbird battlecruiser was created by the Romulan Republic to fill a need for a more agile battlecruiser. It is less durable than the Dauntless, but it's significantly more maneuverable. The warbird battlecruiser is equipped with a Romulan battle cloaking device, which allows the starship to cloak even while in combat. So it's got the good cloaking device on it. 40,000, that's a pretty high hull. 40,000 at 50, and then up to almost 50,000 at level 60. So that's a pretty high hull for an agile ship. It definitely, that shows its Dauntless upbringing. Crew of 1,000, so it's still a pretty big ship. 4 forward and 4 aft weapons. 1 lieutenant commander tactical, 1 lieutenant engineering, 1 commander engineering. So it's more of an engineering ship than it is a tactical ship, which is just what the Dauntless is an engineering ship. 1 lieutenant science with an intel seating, 1 lieutenant universal. 3 tactical, 5 engineering console slots. Wow, 2 science. Very engineering oriented still. I guess you could put a lot of beam weapons on this thing. 10 degrees per second, so it just doesn't turn very fast. Maybe not fast enough for cannons. Plus 10 to weapon power and plus 5 to engine power. It can load dual cannons, but I don't know how useful that'll be on a ship like this. Battle cloak. A universal console destabilized singularity projector. And it's got the singularity abilities you would expect. Plasma shockwave, quantum absorption, warp shadow, singularity jump, singularity overcharge. And then the mastery package for the engineering warbird is absorptive plating, same thing as the Guardian. Enhanced singularity circuitry, which gives you plus singularity gain and minus singularity cooldown. So something for your singularity abilities. I like that. Enhanced plating, armored hull, and then warp shadow decoy. So the destabilized singularity projector comes equipped. Yep, we know that. The advanced Romulan device allows a warbird to project a collapsing singularity toward a distant group of foes. Awesome. The intense stress on the infected starship's hulls causes heavy damage and dramatically reduces their damage resistance to exotic damage. This console can only be equipped on this ship. Okay, so that is cool. It's like one of the singularity abilities you have called Singularity Jump, where you leave a singularity and jump away. Except on this one, you can actually project the singularity to a distant foe. You don't have to jump away from it or be right over the foe to do it. You can select your enemy and then use this ability on them, and it will send the singularity to them and do it at a distance. That is very cool. I'm going to like that ability. I think a lot of people are going to like that ability. It's going to be used a lot. Warp Shadow Decoy. After reaching level 5, you get this. While this trait is slotted, cloaking will cause a warp shadow to appear near your location, causing enemy NPCs to attack your decoy instead of attacking you. This effect cannot trigger more than once every 30 seconds. I guess that's kind of cool. And then back to the beginning here. So those are some of the stats on the ship. So let me know what you think of those stats. I don't know what to make of them yet. I guess until I see these ships in action or try them. They don't really scream Tier 6 ship. I don't really see a whole lot different about them except for that intel seating and the scaling hull. And then you've got that mastery package of abilities that you get. But other than that, I guess that's all that makes them Tier 6. And that I guess that Starship trait too. But is that enough? You see, the way I look at it is I thought Tier 6 ships, or I was thinking maybe Tier 6 ships would get more weapon slots. Most of the ships are maxed out at 4 forward or 4 aft weapon slots, except for that one Klingon one that gets 5 forward weapon slots, but only 2 aft. Maybe one day we could have a ship that has 6 forward weapon slots. I mean, maybe. Wouldn't that be a Tier 6 ship? Wouldn't that make it better? Maybe that'll come with the Tier 7 ships. I don't know. I'm just thinking more weapon slots seems to be something that could easily make a ship a new tier just by adding more weapon slots. All right, moving on. Captain Specializations. Delta Rising will offer players in Star Trek Online the opportunity to fly a powerful new tier of starship, improve their gear to higher echelons of effectiveness, and advance to the ranks of Fleet Admiral or Dahar Master, all while exploring the mysteries and intrigues of an entirely new region or a galaxy. But the opportunities for personal advancement do not end at gaining 10 new levels. We are proud to introduce the Captain Specialization system as an additional avenue. All level 50-plus players will now have to advance the capabilities of their captain, even long after they have stopped earning additional levels. Captain Specializations are a new tier of advancement in which players will progress by earning and spending specialization points. Each time the Captain's Skills point bar is filled, one specialization point will be added to the character, which can then be spent in any of their various specializations. Although you will no longer be able to spend skill points in existing skill once you have reached level 50, all captains will keep earning them even after the character has reached level 60, allowing players to continue feeling a sense of progression long after they have stopped leveling up. Each time you fill the skill point bar, you will earn another specialization point, which can then be spent to gain access to exciting new abilities and effects. If an extremely dedicated captain ever reaches the point where they would earn another specialization point but have already purchased every specialization ability available to them, which I know some people are going to achieve, the surplus points will be automatically converted into dilithium, so you won't stop earning anything. You're going to keep earning stuff. Even after you've gotten everything you can possibly get, they will be turned into dilithium, which will help you even more by having dilithium. In this way, earning skill points by defeating enemies and completing missions is no longer a pursuit intended only for players that haven't yet reached the level cap. With the introduction of Captain Specializations, they will always remain valuable and rewarding. Spend your specialization points wisely. Even though there is no limit to the number of abilities you can purchase within the various specializations, allowing dedicated captains to potentially earn everything there is to offer, every choice made within the system is permanent. No options will be given to refund spend points or remove the ability that has already been purchased. So that's an interesting thing. You can't remove the ability. It's permanent. I kind of like this. What I see this as is giving the players the idea that they're still leveling up without actually leveling up. To keep in-game, to make it feel like you're actually accomplishing something still in the game at in-game. All specializations are comprised of a number of new components. In order to adequately explain the system, it's important to understand the terms being used. Specializations belong to one of two classifications, primary or secondary. At any point in time, a captain may only set one primary and one secondary to active status. Primary specializations consist of a total of 30 abilities and have many unlocks to earn. Secondary specializations consist of only 15 abilities and offer far fewer unlocks. Wow, that is a lot of abilities. Holy crap. Whew. How are they coming up with all those abilities? Because that is a ton of them. Specializations are comprised of a combination of abilities and unlocks. Abilities must be actively purchased one at a time at the cost of one specialization point each. Abilities that have been purchased will only remain available while the specialization is active. Unlocks are earned automatically based on the number of abilities you have purchased within their associated specialization. Unlocks are available regardless of the active and inactive status of their associated specialization. So at the time of launch, they're introducing 3 captain specializations and 1 primary and 2 secondary. I don't understand it, but I guess as time goes on we will. I wish I could make this bigger so you guys could see that. But I'm looking at a tree here. It starts here, it goes down, and there's unlocks here. Interesting. I have no idea how this is going to work out. Primary tree, intelligence officer. Officers trained in this specialization are especially skilled at locating and undermining weaknesses in their foes, while simultaneously covering their own susceptibilities from enemy detection. They also specialize in stealth tactics and anticipating and exploiting tactical opportunities. Purchasing the abilities available in this specialization while offering the follow unlocks. Can equip intelligence kit modules. Ability to train intelligence specialist bridge officers in rank 3 abilities. Starship trait predictive algorithms. Activating any weapon enhancement abilities such as torpedo spread or beam overload will remove one debuff from self and grant a short duration accuracy boost. The type of abilities earned by intelligence officers tend to favor improving existing mechanics such as flanking and stealth, while also offering defenses against those same tactics. Any captains that invest heavily in this specialization will find themselves far more capable at blindsiding their opponents in both ground and space. Here are a few examples of the abilities available in this specialization. Adaptive target space. Each time your attacks miss their target, you gain a stacking accuracy boost. Obliterate defenses ground. Chance to drastically reduce the damage resistance for several seconds of any foe you successfully flank. And opportunistic space and ground. A 10% cooldown reduction for all captain abilities. Secondary tree pilot. Although skilled con officers are not uncommon, it's only an elite few that can truly be considered expert starship pilots. These daredevil and thrill seekers are known to push the upper limits of maneuverability for even the largest and most unwieldy of starships. Purchasing the abilities will give you the following. Unlock starship trait Pedal to the Metal, even though starships have no pedals. Gain a stacking damage bonus for each second you remain at high speed. All stacks are lost if your speed drops. Okay. Pilots specialize in improving the turn rate, flight speed, and defense of their starships. Captains, following the footsteps of famous pilots such as William Riker and Tom Paris, will be able to choose from many abilities. Attack pattern expertise. Activating any attack pattern grants temporary hull, which absorbs a fixed amount of all incoming hull damage until depleted. Desperate flight. Once below 80% hull, flight speed and turn rate gradually increase as your hull is further depleted. The bonus caps out at 20% hull. Rock and roll. Your ship performs an animated roll maneuver, preventing all incoming damage for a short duration. I want to see that one in action. An animated roll maneuver. A starship, I mean, come on, why shouldn't starships do roll maneuvers? We're in space, should be flipping all over the place in space, right? Warrior, okay, secondary tree Commando. Warrior traditions, ceremonial martial arts, and years of armed conflict have all played their part in honing the capabilities of skilled personal combatants. Brave and unflinching ground troops are frequently the deciding factor in planetary conflicts, even if they sometimes end up overlooked in this age of massive space battles and galaxy-spanning wars. Purchasing the abilities available in this specialization will unlock demolition teams. While within short range of an enemy starship, periodically beam over clusters of explosives to their interior. About time. After several charges are placed, they will be automatically detonated, dealing kinetic damage that bypasses shields. It's about time we used our transporters to beam weapons onto ships as explosives. I mean, that's the first thing we would do in the real world. If we had transporter technology, you would bet that that they would be, beaming weapons into places to explode, which is also a very bad thing. But, I mean, it would make sense, logically, in a weird sense way. You know what I mean. The Commando Specialization offers abilities that improve nearly every aspect of a captain's ground combat abilities, ranging from weapon efficiency to improved survivability and maneuverability. Captains yearning for the glory of personal combat can earn abilities, all ground, that include resilient power cells, reduce the cooldown of all weapon secondary firing modes, headshot, gain, about time we have headshots in Star Trek Online, gain additional critical hit chance while in aim mode, and juggernaut shielding. I'm the Juggernaut. Increased shield hardness and max shield. Some of these names, they're having fun with naming these things, right? Increased shield hardness and max shield capacity. I would love to see, hitboxes in Star Trek Online. That's one thing they don't have. I'm going back to the headshot thing here. Hitboxes are where different sections or parts of the body that you're firing on has different damage. So, example, in first-person shooters, some of them, if you shoot their head, it's like instant death. It's headshot. But if you shoot them in the chest, it does like less damage. shoot them in a leg and less damage or whatever, different hitboxes. Star Trek Online doesn't have that technology, but I would love to see that come to Star Trek Online one day in the future. It would make ground combat more interesting, more layered. But anyway, an ability called Headshot, I guess that's the closest thing we're going to get right now. The future of Captain Specializations. As mentioned earlier, we look forward to putting out additional specializations alongside future updates. Our hope with this system is to revitalize the high-end content of the game by introducing new progression options for all players that can continue to feel rewarding after levels have stopped being earned. We hope that this newfound sense of endless progression can simultaneously grant each player the opportunity to explore different choices as they continue to earn progress. It'll also make everybody more unique, which I think is very much needed in the game. Although only a single primary specialization will be included with Delta Rising, we have already begun laying the groundwork for additional primary specialization to be released with an upcoming update. Future updates may also result in the conversion of an existing secondary specialization into a primary specialization, expanded to include additional progression options within that specialization. The potential scope of this feature is immense. The opportunities for inventive designs, as well as the benefits it grants to players seeking out additional progression choices, are opening the doors to entirely new options of play styles. Future expansion of the system will only serve to enhance both of these aspects as players continue to progress in the system long after the completion of the leveling process. This does have a lot of room for advancement for sure. And it keeps, like I said, it keeps everybody unique, and they get to play the way they want to play. Do you want to play stealthy? You want to play Rambo style? You know, however you want to play the game helps you do that and makes you more unique than everyone else. Because there's only 3 classes, right? There's only engineer, tactical, and science. There's only so much you can do with that. Well, this kind of opens up the door for a lot more to do with that. So I like this, although it sounds complicated right now. It's like I don't really understand it until I see it in action or try it, you know? It just sounds very involved right now. So we'll see how it works. All right, what do we got here? A new ground queue called Bug Hunt. We followed the fragments of recorded data, and they led us to Pariah 3. On the surface, it's a rocky, abandoned world. We didn't expect to find much, maybe another clue. We were wrong. It's a hive, and they're prepared to swarm. It's time to act. The insects are training a new generation to infiltrate and infest not only the Delta Quadrant, but the Alpha Quadrant as well. We didn't have much time, but we managed to find their weakness, the hive's spawn mother. The insects aren't intelligent, but it is clear her will is what drives them, and from her, the most dangerous insects are generated. Without the spawn mother, we might have a chance to shut down the hive with minimal casualties in the rest of the quadrant and beyond. So already I am reminded of Starship Troopers, I believe is the show or the movie. There's some movie out there. I think it's Starship Troopers. Anyway, it deals with killing a bunch of bugs. It's actually kind of a fun movie to watch, at least the first one. The sequels weren't that good, but the first one was pretty good. And it deals with killing a lot of bugs, and that's what this reminds me of here. A dedicated team will be needed to infiltrate the hive and eliminate the spawn mother. We'll need someone familiar with explosive. She's at the heart of the hive and protected by many layers of security and solid stone. The team will need to be experts in close quarters and subterranean combat. The insects are numerous and they are fast. The team will have to be faster and able to react to the unexpected. The insects will die for the spawn mother. It's been bred into them on a genetic level. Getting to her through them will be difficult. We also have evidence to suggest that she can exert direct control over their minds. It would not be surprising if she places an army between the team and her. Removing her from the hive will be a crippling blow. Without her, we might have a chance to stop before they swarm. It will not be an easy task, but it must be done soon, to par. The Bug Hunt is the next queue available to players in Delta Rising expansion. This story-related queue will be available to characters once they have completed the featured episode, Dragon's Deceit. So there we go. Now we know the name of the featured episode for this expansion, and it is Dragon's Deceit. But interesting, it's just a featured episode, not a featured series. Boy, I miss featured series, don't you guys? Remember when they had a series of 5 episodes and it was called a featured series, and that was awesome? I wish they would bring that back. Players will venture into the hive of a dangerous insectoid foe, combat his guardians, and topple its leadership. The queue has 3 modes, normal, advanced, and elite, to provide a variety of challenges. While normal and advanced can be played at level 50, elite is open to players at level 60. This challenge is not to be taken lightly. The elite version of the queue is some of the most difficult ground combat we've made thus far, requiring top-level gear and highly coordinated teams. The bug hunt is coming to trouble soon. Interesting. I look forward to that. I love some more ground missions. All right, gear upgrade event, and this is going on right now this weekend on Holodeck. This was released with the patch this week. This is out. This is there. You can do this. I have looked at it. I haven't really done it. I'm going to wait until after Delta Rising, and then I'm going to do it. In our last week's blog, we provided an overview of the new tech upgrade system that will be coming with the release of Delta Rising, and now it's time to put that to good use. We're releasing part of the tech upgrade system early so that you can upgrade your equipment in preparation. The tech upgrade system allows you to use tech upgrades to improve the mark of your gear and has a chance to improve their quality as well. For the pre-release of Delta Rising, we're including tech upgrades as craftable gear, and you'll be able to use tech upgrades to improve your gear to Mark 13, ultra rare, ultraviolet quality. Now, Mark 14 and Epic Gold quality will not be available until Delta Rising is released, and this is one reason why I'm waiting. I'm not gonna. Who cares about Mark 13? If I've already got Mark 12 stuff, who cares about Mark 13? No, I want Mark 14 or the Epic Gold stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wait until Mark 14 is available. There's no reason to go from 12 to 13 and then to 14. I will just skip 13, go straight from 12 to 14, because ultimately 14 is what I would want anyway. So pointless. So I'm gonna wait. So those of you asking, do a video on the tech upgrade stuff? No, I'm gonna wait until after Delta Rising, because it's only out in part right now anyway. The whole thing's not even there yet. It'll all be out after Delta Rising, and then the whole thing will be there, and then you can upgrade your gear to Mark 14. And then that's when I'll look at it, and that's when I'll try some things. I will upgrade some things to Mark 14. I probably may not upgrade everything to Mark 14. I may leave some stuff at Mark 12, which is actually not terrible. You know, it's still good. It's not going to be terrible. So there are some things I might not spend the effort on upgrading. And there might be some things I do upgrade. I don't know yet. Or I might just go buy the new Mark 14. So I'm sure a lot of the stuff's going to be in the exchange anyway for energy credits. All right. Naturally, upgrading your best in-game gear will be most effective if you use the best tech upgrades. So keep working on your R&D skills. And again, I don't craft. So really, all this is kind of like pointless to me in a way, because I don't even craft. I don't even like to craft. It's just not my thing. Level 5 in an R&D school will allow you to craft basic tech upgrades. Level 10 will open access to improved tech upgrades, and level 15 grants the ability to craft superior tech upgrades. Focus on the school associated with the gear that you want to upgrade first. If you really want to improve your ship's shields, work on the shield's R&D skill. Mark 13 gear will give you a significant improvement over earlier marks. By starting your upgrades now, you'll have the opportunity to see just what kind of gear can do by participating in existing queued events and missions, or practicing. That way, when you visit the Delta Quadrant, you'll be ready to tackle the new challenges that will face your ship and crew. I think I'm going to do just fine with Mark 12 anyway. In addition, R&D packs found in the C-Store now include upgrade accelerator items to improve your results. Each pack includes a medium or large tech research accelerator randomly chosen. New upgrade event. To help promote the new tech upgrade, we're holding a special event in 3 parts. Log on to Holodeck during the event and you'll be able to claim bonus rewards to get a head start. You should speak with a special contact to acquire your reward. Starfleet officers speak with Lieutenant Shelby. KDF officers speak with Commander Hugar and on Kronos, and Romulan speak to Lieutenant Tarai at New Romulus. In each case, you'll find your contact at the appropriate ground equipment requisition area. Okay, so from about 10 a.m. Pacific on September 25th, which was a couple of days ago, until 10 a.m. September 29th, you can log in and speak to your faction contact to gain 3 superior ground tech upgrades, 3 superior shield tech upgrades, and 1 major tech accelerator. And from 10 a.m. Pacific to on October 2nd until 10 a.m. on October 6th, you can log in and you get 3 superior science tech upgrades, 3 superior engineering tech upgrades, and 1 major tech accelerator. And then from 10 a.m. Pacific on October 9th until 10 a.m. Pacific on October 13th, you can log in and speak to your faction contact to get 3 superior beam tech upgrades, 3 superior cannon tech upgrades, 3 superior projectile tech upgrades, and 1 major tech accelerator. So log in during those dates to get those things for free on all of your characters, if you're interested in this. I'm going to go ahead and get those materials because it's free. Why not? I'll take them, I'll put them aside, and then I'll wait until after Delta Rising is released to look at the whole upgrade system, because it's only released in part right now. I'm going to wait until it's complete, and also until the Mark 14 gear is in the game. So that's that. That's the upgrade system. And yeah, and there's been a lot of talk in the chat on ESD and other places about items that don't have upgrade options, because some items are not upgradable, and the only way you know if it's upgradable is to right click on it and see if it has an upgrade option. If you right click on the item and it says upgrade, you can upgrade it. If it does not say upgrade, you cannot upgrade it, and there are some things that are not upgradable, and there are people a little PO'd about that. Also, some of the things I have learned lose their modifiers. In fact, the kinetic cutting beam, which one would assume would be a thing you would want to upgrade, it's just, that space item you get from the Omega reputation. It's the kinetic cutting beam Mark 12. It has a damage times 3 modifier on it in its standard Mark 12 form. Well, if you upgrade it to Mark 13, apparently that modifier disappears, goes away. There is no more damage times 3 modifier. It is just a Mark 13 kinetic cutting beam. Now, I don't know the stats between them. I don't know the DPS numbers between them, but interesting that you lose the modifier on that. So that's something to keep in mind, is you may lose some of the modifiers by going to Mark 13, and that's just going to depend on the item, and we don't know which items yet do that, but there's the potential or possibility of losing modifiers. That's another reason why I'm just going to wait for Mark 14 in the first place. Skip Mark 13, I'll just wait for Mark 14. So that's that. That's going on now until the Delta Rising is released. And we know 7 of 9 is going to return. And it looks like they have recreated her in-game. 7 of 9 had a unique position among the crew of USS Voyager. Assimilated by the Borg as a young girl, she spent more of her life as a tertiary adjunct of Unimatrix 01. Then as a human, after her liberation by Voyager, acclimating to life on board the ship was often confusing for her, and unlike the majority of the crew, she had no burning need to return to a home of which she had no memories. Voyager was her home. Despite having some doubts about whether or not she wanted to go to Earth, Seven did her part to get the crew home. And after arriving in the Alpha Quadrant, she did her best to help the Federation, leading a task force intended to prepare the Federation for a Borg attack Seven knew would come. In 2385, after more than a decade without a Borg sighting, Starfleet disbanded the task force, declaring that the Borg were no longer a threat. Angered by what she thought was a dangerously reckless decision, Seven left Starfleet service and accepted a researcher position with the Daystrom Institute. The attack on Vega Colony and the return of the Collective in 2409 vindicated Seven's position, but she chose to remain at the Institute. Oh, so we learn some backstory on her now. She's working at the Daystrom Institute. That's interesting. After the Iconian gateways discovered at the Solanae and Jenolan Dyson spheres reopened the path to the Delta Quadrant, Admiral Tuvok wanted to gather as many experts as he could to help ships of Operation Delta Rising. Who knew more about the Delta Quadrant than his Voyager crewmates? At his request, Seven has agreed to return to the Delta Quadrant. While she refused a Starfleet commission, she agreed to take a role as a science advisor to the fleet. Currently, she is on the USS Callisto, which is investigating an outpost found near Tarai space. So she is not in Starfleet, but she is basically a civilian scientist working at the Daystrom Institute, now going to join Tuvok in helping with the Delta Quadrant. And she's near Tarai space. So I like this backstory for her. I think that is pretty cool. And it kind of would make sense that she would not stay with Starfleet, I think, because she needed to rediscover herself in a way. And I would be PO'd too if, you build this whole force to go against the Borg and then you disband it, and then they end up coming back later. Yeah, she was vindicated, all right. We were pretty excited when we heard we were going to get 7 of 9 into the game. She is one of the most interesting characters the Star Trek universe has created. Superbly played by Jerry Ryan, she steals your attention, in some ways more than others, with her commanding demeanor and insert you-know-what, of course. her undeniable beauty. With this in mind, we knew it would be very challenging to make a game character that reminds us of the real version. Towards that end, we looked up tons of references and watched a lot of Voyager episodes. Then, as we began sculpting in ZBrush, we would periodically show the work in progress to the other artists here to get their take on the result, always aiming to both getting the likeness and her signature attitude by making adjustments based on the feedback. It has been my experience that good things happen when you try to look through other eyes than your own. I think we did pretty well. She is such a wonderful, iconic character, and we really enjoyed making her. She did such an amazing job with the dialogue, so I know players will have a great experience seeing her back in Star Trek. We can't wait for you all to play through the hard work we have done. It's rewarding when you find out your efforts paid off in a positive, fun experience to others, and I'm pretty sure this will. So it looks like her, and it looks a little different, granted. It's a game. But obviously she would have aged over time, so maybe that's why she looks a little different. Because she's not going to stay the same age forever. She's going to get older. So that has to be shown, I think. Alright, the Battle of Cortez. VOD warships have been sighted in range of Cortez 4. This is a populated world, and the Alliance intends to defend it. We're sending several task forces in to secure different areas of the system. You and other captains dispatched to the area will form a small task group that will aid with the defense of the Cortez system. The USS Rhode Island is already in the area making initial survey. Captain Kim will give you a full briefing. So it's awesome. Captain Kim of the USS Rhode Island is the captain of the Rhode Island in this one. And he was in that in an alternate future, and he ends up being it in the real future. The Vaudois are attempting to take control of the Cortez system and its resources. Your team has been assembled to fight the battles that can't be lost. Captain Kim will be coordinating reactions with those of the fleet that will be engaging the rest of the Vaudois forces throughout the system. During the queue, captains will aid Delta Quadrant species such as the Benthan and Tarai in their attempt to aid the peaceful people of Cortez 4. The Battle of Cortez is an elite-only queue designed for level 60. It is a mixed faction and is about 15 minutes long. This queue is 4 phases. The first phase and the last phase will always be the same. The 2 middle phases will be selected from a pool of different challenges. The first phase of the mission is hard. It is intended to cause captains who aren't good enough or have weak gear to fail before making a large investment in time. Well, that's nice for them. The subsequent 2 phases are chosen from a pool of challenges that will force the captains to communicate strategy and tactics quickly and adapt to new situations. These challenges will range from helping ships run blockades, defending local space stations from large enemy task forces, and holding the line against Vaudois interdiction ships. Interdiction ships? Yeah. If the captains are able to stop the Vaudois forces, they will have a chance to face and defeat the Vaudois flagship of VSW Implacable, leading the attack on the Cortez system. As the name of the ship suggests, it is hard to pin down. If at any point the team fails to complete a task force, the whole mission will fail. Rewards for the queue will include reputation marks, elite queue R&D materials, and dilithium. Tips: this queue is a top-level elite queue. Take the time to get the new top-level gear and skills before attempting. The Vaudois artillery barrage is deadly to those captains who prefer hold station while blasting enemy ships into pieces. Situation awareness and communication are essential, which no pug has situational awareness or communication. So this is not one you would want to pug. And lastly, we have 2 new aliens being shown today. We have the APU Intelligence. We saw this in a Voyager episode, forgot the name, dealing with these basically androids. Automatic personnel units are a cautionary tale, a race of androids constructed by the Prelor and Kravik civilizations. APUs fight a war for masters who no longer exist. From what we understand from Voyager's contact with the APUs, the Prelor and Kravik were at war for much of the early 23rd century. Needing troops to replace the Fallen, both developed races of battle androids. The Prelor units had a silver-colored metallic shell, while the Kravik used a gold color for theirs. Other than that, the APUs were almost identical. Their faces had only the suggestion of humanoid features, and both types were designed with the chromodynamic power modules, a form of unreplicatable technology intended to not only power the APU, but also to make reproduction impossible. I suppose the androids did their job. The war devastated both civilizations. Facing mutual destruction, the Prelor and Kravik agreed to a peace treaty. One of the requirements was the deactivation of all the automated personnel units. But the androids had been built too well. Sensing a threat to their existence, they turned on their creators. Both races were exterminated without mercy, and the APU continue their war to this day. Because they cannot replicate more power modules, the APU, like the creators, are dying. When Voyager found a non-functioning Prelor APU, their chief engineer Belana Torres repaired it and developed a prototype power module that could allow the APUs to create more androids. Fortunately, Torres realized the shift in power balance this would create and destroyed her work. The APUs continue their war, but now both sides know that it is impossible to create the chromodynamic power modules. Acquiring them is a top priority. So this is really, really, really cool. To learn more, watch Prototype is the name of the episode. Prototype. So this is really cool. I'm glad that they're going to be in the game. I like the idea of them in Voyager, so that is cool. I'm glad to see them back. We also have the Tarai, and we just learned that this is where 7 of 9 is being sent. A secretive isolationist species, the Tarai are the keepers of underspace, a series of subspace corridors that crisscross the Delta Quadrant. Voyager was once pulled into one of these corridors by a special anomaly, and the crew wanted to investigate using these tunnels to cut the length of their journey. The Tarai found them and attempted to board the ship to eradicate any recorded data about underspace, forcing Voyager to drop down into Vodwar's prime atmosphere in an attempt to escape the Tauri attack. The Tarai are known to have a few allies in the Delta Quadrant. Their abrasive nature makes them difficult to deal with, and they have an unpleasant reputation as deal breakers that stems from their seizure of underspace more than 900 years ago. There are few records left from that era, but those that remain tell a story of the Tarai leading an alliance to take underspace from its owners, and then later turning on their allies to capture the tunnels for themselves. Although the passage of time may have changed the Tarai, their fierce drive to guard underspace from interlopers has driven most of their potential allies away. Because the Tarai have a reptilian origin, the species in the Delta Quadrant they are most closely related to are the Voth. Voth and Tarai ships have been seen on joint trade expeditions, but it's unclear if they have anything resembling a friendship. Watch Dragon's Teeth to learn more about the Tarai. And so that's a Voth ship right there, or a Tarai ship, I guess, which looks just like a Voth ship. And so Underspace, that's all about the VOD War. Dragon's Teeth, yeah, good episode. Go watch that. That'll tell you about the VOD War and these people. So a lot of good things coming to Star Trek Online for Delta Rising. A lot of stuff here. We've learned about the stats of some of the ships, some new alien species, the gear upgrade stuff, 7 of 9, the Battle of Cortez. The bug queue of the ground, Captain Specializations, which sounds totally confusing. Boy, that's a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff right there. It's like every week they just give us a ton of new information, a ton of new stuff. It's hard to digest, hard to assimilate, and hard to really figure out what it all means and how it's all going to work. I don't think we're going to figure out how it works until it's in the game and we're actually trying it and using it. Also, there's so much to cover that there is no doubt I want to cover as much as I can with new videos. But guys, I'm going to wait until after this is all released on Delta Rising. I know some of the stuff is being, sent to Tribble for testing, but that's a beta server. You're going to have problems. You're going to have bugs, and a lot of it's not in complete form, and I'm just going to wait for the real thing. I'm going to wait until all of this is released on Delta Rising, and then I will explore each new thing, and I'll have to make a series of video on each new thing, because there's no way one video is going to be able to cover like each new thing coming out. It'll be a series of videos for each thing, and it will take time. I will be covering Delta Rising for the rest of this year, no doubt, and probably even way into 2015. I will still be exploring the new stuff in Delta Rising. There's that much stuff to look at and figure out. And that's the thing, is I got to figure it out too, so I can show you. If I don't know how to use it, how can I tell you how to use it? I got to figure it out myself. The whole Captain Specialization thing, I'm going to have to tear up on a character with it and figure it all out and see what it does and how it works. So, and then obviously if I want to get the tier 6 ships and try those out, same thing. all of that will just take time. So bear with me. It's going to take time, but I plan to cover as much or all of it as I can. It's just going to take time, so please be patient. Even though I am doing other gameplays, you'll see me do other games this year. Star Trek Online is not the only game I'm going to do. But while I do other games and play other games and make videos for other games, I will also continue Star Trek Online. It's not going to go away at all. There may be a week or two where you don't see some Star Trek Online content, but honestly, once Delta Rising comes out, I think you'll see something every week, at least as much as I can do. But yeah, that's the deal. There will always be Star Trek Online content, so fear not. You may see other games on the channel, other game runs, but Star Trek Online will never go away, and you will see content. It will just take me time to make the content. I want to make it good. I don't want to just rush things up there. I want to be informative with my content, else it doesn't mean much. So, yeah, it just takes time to do it, but I'm going to get all that up there. The first thing I'll do when Delta Rising releases is to do all the special featured episodes. You know, if there's the new missions that are released, or the new featured episode, Dragon's Deceit, I believe it was called, all that stuff I'm going to do first, because that's the storyline content. I want to do the storyline content before I go into all the, grindage stuff. So that's the deal, folks. That's what I got. I will have another news update next weekend for sure, and we'll see what else is going to be coming to Star Trek Online for Delta Rising. And I will also have another ship next weekend as well, so stay tuned for that. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching this hour-long video. It was not as long as the last one, but it was very long. I would like these to be shorter, but they have just been releasing so much news that to get through it all, it takes that amount of time. So thank you for watching. To those that have listened and watched this entire video, I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody who watches any of my videos. Without you guys, watching this, I would not have a reason to do this. I do this for you guys. I do this because I enjoy the game. It's just a hobby for me. So I do what I can. Time is limited, and I do this when I can. I'm sorry for being late this week on this video, but there you go. There will be more, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.